Momentum Express orientation here for our open house. Let's get started. So, my name is J.R. Romero, and we're just going to go through some mandatory disclosures here. Take screenshots, take pictures, read voraciously, make sure you understand the meaning of our disclosures, and we're going to get started. So, welcome all to our Momentum Express orientation. Quick introduction to the room. Our room is, I think, quite unique as far as other rooms I've seen. The Momentum Express room is very much a community-driven room. We have hundreds of traders in the room at any time of the day, and we work very much as a team, finding the right technical opportunities in the market day in and day out. We want to trade smart, be professional, have fun, learn whenever we can, and grow. We are definitely a family and a community. The ultimate goal, of course, is to always be as profitable as we can without psychological and emotional toxicity. We are very much a news flow driven room as well. The sooner we get it, the better, and we often get it very quick ahead of the rest of the market. This is me, JR. That is my prison mugshot. I am the room leader here. Room leader. I am the head moderator here at T3 Live. I am a long full-time trader. I am very much a price action and momentum trader. We have a heavy emphasis on news flow here and relationship-based trading. My email is here, ronimo@t3live.com. You can also email jr@t3live.com as well. I'm going to type this into the chat there. So, we have two moderators who I believe are in the room now. Eddie, say hello to everyone, and David W. They help keep things running, as does Amber, our glorious trading counselor. All three of the people I mentioned below are not just moderators and counselors, they're traders in their own right. So they're here to help, they're here to moderate. Please be kind to them. Their presence here is an act of love and an act of love and definite dedication to the community. We have traders with a diamond next to their name. These are traders who are senior traders and have two chief characteristics. They're very knowledgeable and always willing and ready to help fellow banditos, as we say, fellow traders. They also contribute to the room greatly in terms of trading ideas day in and day out. Don't be shy. Introduce yourselves. Converse. If they're not busy, they will answer you promptly. They're a fantastic resource and a key pillar of our community. If you have any questions, please reach out to Amber. Info at T3 Live, I believe, goes to you, right? Right, Amber? Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you have subscription issues, questions about courses, pricing, etc., awesome. Thank you, Amber. Please reach out to Amber at T3 Live or info at T3 Live, and she will have you right as rain. So, about the Momentum Express open house. So, what you'll get is access to our community, a Sunday weekly review, room access Monday to Friday, live coaching Monday through Thursday, and we're going to have a couple of bonus lessons this week. House rules. Most important, please be nice and respectful. It is imperative that we treat each other with the utmost professional respect. Very important also not to, please don't post your profits, losses, no numbers. If you want to refer to risk units you made or lost on a trade, that's fine. But people here are really trying to concentrate, and we find that people, especially if they're sharing large profit numbers, it tends to be distracting and cause other people FOMO or toxicity. Also, politics. If you have to offer your opinion on Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi or the gun control debate or abortion or anything else, this is not the place to do it. Please keep your political opinions to yourself. There are oftentimes we have to discuss an issue that's political, and I try to, as surgically as I possibly can, address a politically related market moving event. that could be market moving. But please, that is not a signal for you guys to tag along and start just elbow drop somebody's political affiliations, say screw this guy, that guy, etc. Please just keep your political opinions to yourself. Um, Lastly, you are responsible for your own trades, no one else. We share trade ideas day in and day out. Often they are conditionally based on a certain set of parameters triggering. If you take a trade, you are taking a trade because you believe that it is beneficial to take for yourself, and you assume risk and responsibility for the gains or losses on that trade. Make sure that if you do take trades, that they are conforming to your style and trading plan. Okay. Uh, on that note, please make sure that um, you don't take any excess risks until you understand what you're doing. We have a variety of traders attending this open house. I'm sure some of you are already professional or full-time traders. Some of you may be beginner traders. Do not trade until you understand what you are doing, if that applies to you. Everyone wants to make money, but it is often best to watch, listen, and follow along before going live with cash. I'm a big fan of paper trading. If you're still in the prototyping stage of your career, it is essential that you don't risk capital you can't afford to lose, very especially if you're a novice trader. Preserve your capital at all times, as they say in the boxing world. Protect yourself at all times. If you're going to ask a question, please make sure that you put a question mark at the end of that question. The reason is that when you add a question mark to the end of the question, it gets highlighted as a question. Okay? Exactly. If you want to address me, you can do at and then my name like so. Okay? And that will actually pop up on my screen. Bob, I believe Monica's out this week. I believe she may be on vacation. But so if you're gonna ask me a question, please do an at sign and then my initials JR. That will pop up on my screen, and please make sure to also put a question mark at the end of it. During open houses, we'll have, we often have hundreds of guests in the room, and sometimes it's like drinking from a fire hose. If you're asking questions without question marks and at signs, I often miss a question. So if I do, please re-ask it again or reach out to one of the moderators and they'll forward me the question. Oftentimes, especially during an open house, it's so busy that I'll miss a question. It is, I promise you, nothing personal. It's just really busy, especially during the beginning of the day between 9:30 and 10:30, 9:30 and 11. We're very busy trading. We're looking at technical analysis, news, opening imbalances, etc. It's a bit of a three-ring circus. So if you're asking questions specifically during those times, it is very difficult to be able to get to all questions in time. If you have questions, the best time to ask them is after 11 o'clock. Between 11 and 1, the market really slows down, and I'm always happy to do as much Q&A with you guys as is required. As far as our codes for the room, 11 is a yes, 22 is a no, 99, if you can't hear me well, if I'm breaking up, if you can't hear me at all, type in 99 and someone will reach out to try to help you. We don't often have a lot of audio issues, but sometimes we have so many guests that it could potentially overload the media servers. Hasn't happened in a while, but just so you know, if you can't hear me well, if you're having audio issues, just type in 99 into the chat and we will try to remedy that as soon as possible, okay? All right, now onto the PDT issue. If you trade a small account, beware of the PDT rule. That is the pattern day traders restriction. So if you're in the United States and you have an account under $25,000, you're restricted to 4 round-trip trades. So just beware of that trading restriction because you may get a courtesy call from your broker. Make sure you know the term, understand the restrictions, and understand the difference between a cash account and a margin account. If you don't, please make sure to contact your broker. All right. As far as software is concerned, I use TC2000 and TradingView as my main charting platforms. Most traders here, as far as brokers are concerned, are either on Interactive Brokers, Fidelity, Lightspeed, or one of the DOS supported brokers. I'm personally on DOS, but that's if you have any questions about brokers, we can definitely talk to you about that. We certainly can't make any recommendations. As long as you're happy with your software, I'm happy with your software, and that's all it boils down to. As far as indicators, we'll talk about EMAs. Those are exponential moving averages. I primarily refer to the 8 to 21 and the 200 simple moving average. We use volume weighted average prices, pivot points, and often refer to make a lot of references to volume. The pivot points we use are standard floor trader pivots, and they are in TradingView referred to, I believe, as floor trader pivots, as well as TC2000. Okay, extended hours are always off, except for the first 2-3 minutes of the open. The time frames we mostly use are the 2, the 5, the 15 minute, and the hourly. Oftentimes, if there's news flow, I'll reference the 1 minute chart. If it's a volume explosion in the middle of the day, I'll switch to the 1 minute. But usually you'll see a 2, a 5, a 15, and a 60-minute chart on. Okay, so those are the primary time frames we're using. So onto the daily schedule. The schedule on the days is following. As follows. Typically, we'll kick off around 9. We'll go over our watch list on the day and any relevant overnight news, as well as major technical developments, analyst notes, upgrades, downgrades, and catalysts. We go over the calendar, what to expect as far as catalysts on the day and data drops to expect. If there's a big conference that we'll be covering throughout the day, listening in, we'll also talk about that and talk about, most importantly, our game plan for the day. 9:30 to 11, we trade the open. We trade the opening drives in either direction, and things really typically slow down between 11 and 2. If you're attending the open house and you have Ken, typically we'll start at 9, but sometimes we'll start a little bit earlier if there's like a relevant news, for example, like a CPI or whatever that really moves the market. Sometimes we'll move it to 8:45. Most of the time it's 9 o'clock. Okay. If we're going to start earlier, I'll put a note in the VTF announcing that. 3 to 4 p.m. is the power hour. As most of you know, that is the last hour of the day, and we tend to get some wild moves, especially during rebalancing days and expirations. At 4:30 p.m., we will go over the market wrap-up on the day. That is the time that we review trade or trade. So if you have a trade that you want us to review, shoot me an email, jr@t3live.com. If you look in the document section of the VTF, you will find the under files. You'll see the what's it called? The template to send in trades. Okay, so that is highly recommended. We also have I use the 8 and 21 EMA and the 200 SMA. Okay, good question. So if you go to your let me take a picture here of my VTF window. This is important if you're a new visiting member of the room. If you go right here to files, okay, there's a lot of resources. Daily trade template is the template we use to submit trade reviews. Okay, there's a cheat sheet for our main room course called Momentum Mastery. A lot of the technical terms I refer to are all in that cheat sheet. So fast schematics, slow schematics, and many other terms. If you can't you can't get my attention for whatever reason, they're there. Within the moderator notes, you'll also find the Momentum Express member guide. Okay, So if you go to right here under moderator notes, if you go to member guide, you will find the member guide will actually give you all the references to technical help, all the stuff we discussed today, where to find things, and a lot of our bonus education you can actually look under and find under subscription resources. So basically everything we're talking about today and more is available under the member guide. I highly recommend that you peruse that at your leisure. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Yeah. So news flow. Obviously, we can't predict when news flow hits. We're always looking for breaking news, and we tend to trade that with great speed and success. So when news breaks, you'll hear me say something like, Microsoft, MSFT, and then I'll squawk the news, and then I'll go over the technical parameters for taking that trade in real time with the room, and I'll give my opinion on whether it's the news is important and what the technical parameters for taking the trade are. All right, awesome. So that is pretty much a quick summary of what you guys can expect this week. It should be a very interesting week. We've got the FOMC decision on Wednesday, and the GPU technical conference that's really going to move the semiconductors, which have obviously been market leaders in tech, on Tuesday. So I'm really excited about the Monday run-up, the market volatility on the semiconductors tomorrow, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing lots of interesting opportunities there. So we're going to be coming back in 30 minutes for the market weekly watch list, where I'll go over my outlook for the week. We're going to talk about technical setups, what I expect in terms of monthly performance, chart trends, names on watch, and the weekly calendar, earnings calendar, and what to expect in the coming few days. So we do that every Sunday night at 9 p.m. and it's a great way for me to make sure that I do my homework, and I think a lot of the members of the room really like doing the watch list together. We got a lot of contributions in terms of ideas also on Sunday nights from our other members, so it's a good time. All right, I certainly can't trade without it, Eddie. So we'll be back in about 30 minutes for that. And yeah, it's definitely worth sticking around if you've got the time. Does anyone have any questions about the orientation or about the room that I could answer now? I'm happy to go over any questions you guys might have. Comments, questions, complaints, criticisms, feedback, thoughts, musings. Quiet crowd today, Eddie. Everyone knows everything. Do I show my active trades? I am very detailed in terms of my entries, my exits, what I'm thinking about during the trade. I narrate most of my trades, my levels. I don't show my trading screen, Frank, if that's what you're asking. Do you do more breakout trades or pull back to support lines? It's a great question, Chandu. It depends on the stage the market is in. If we are breaking out of a consolidation, I'll be focusing on opening range breakouts and breakout trades. If we're already trending and we're in continuation mode from the prior day, I'll be looking for both breakouts and pullback trades. Can I explain more about news flow? Sure. So typically in the market, right, there will be news that are not yet discounted, right, by the market. So say, for example, Microsoft puts out a new AI engine, or say Microsoft decides not to use NVIDIA GPUs and decides to go with Intel for some reason, right? I'm not saying that's likely to happen, but something like that. Well, we can expect Intel to pop more than NVIDIA drops, right? So I would quickly go into the Intel chart and on the fly look at the levels and decide whether that's a trade I want to take, what the levels are, and where I would be entering or exiting the trade. Does that make sense? Uh, what was the thing we should what was the thing you said we should watch? Well, I'm just recommending that you guys come back at 9 for the watch list. We do a weekly watch list where we talk about all the names we're watching, the weekly calendar, the events that are coming up, conferences, and so on and so forth. Uh, do I display your trades in alerts? I don't have time to type them in, but I'll say something like, okay, guys, I'm looking to short Amazon under 173.90. I have a sell stop at 173.90. My first target is 169.50. My second target is 168.75, and my stop is, I don't know, 174.60. Okay, so that's the trade idea, guys. When it hits my sell stop, I'm going to be entering the trade, and those are my targets and stops. Here's why I like the idea, and we'll talk about the trade idea. And if it triggers, it triggers. And then once it triggers, I'll talk about how I feel about the trade. Yes, Don, we do a ton of swing trades here. What's your average trader's return a month? It depends on the trader, Joseph. Just like with any other room, you have some traders making 20-30% on their account a month. Some people losing money. Some people making 10%. Some people making 5%. Well, Eddie, should I tell the room what your return was? I'm like a proud papa. No, please. Let's just say Eddie has beat all Wall Street expectations on the month. Very, very impressive. He's making Jim Simons kind of money, return wise. What kind of trades do you use as far as buy, hold, or options? What kind of trades do I use? As far as buy and hold, well, I trade both equities and options as well as futures, Charles. I can answer more detail if you clarify a little bit more. Are all your short-term trades short-term or long-term or a mix? Uh, I have some. It really depends on the market cycle, Bill. There are days where I'll tell the room, guys, we're in a choppy consolidation. The market is overbought. We're between key levels in the S&Ps, and I'm only interested in scalping for a very limited 20-point range in the S&Ps, and I don't think there's a lot of opportunities today. So I'll be scalping, trades between 2 and 15 minutes. And I'll be looking, I don't know, if I'm trading Amazon, say, just an example, instead of looking for $3 on the move, I'll be looking for 70 cents because I believe that that's what the market has to offer that day. There's days where I'll hold, I don't know, AMD or NVIDIA for a day, for 2 days, for a week. It really just depends on what the opportunity is, okay? And throughout the day, we're very heavy scalpers of the S&Ps in this room. We trade a lot of Tesla, a lot of Amazon, a lot of AMD, a lot of NVIDIA. So some trades are, a quick retracement off of, you if you say you're shorting NVIDIA, we'll trade it. We'll short a retracement back to VWAP for 4 points, right? Other days we'll hold NVIDIA all day long. So it just depends on what's happening in the market. Just really depends. Do you call out options trades as well as long short? I'll call a trade idea, Todd. Some people trade options here. A huge percentage of the room day trades options. I'll call out the levels. Whether you trade options or equities, I think, is immaterial. It's up to you. Do you prefer to see stocks breaking above today's open if today's open is greater from yesterday's close, or stocks that close below today's open if today's open is less than yesterday's close? I'm highly discretionary, Deepak. It just depends on what's happening with the market, what's happening with the price action, and I'll see an opportunity. Sometimes you have an inside day, the market's strong. You'll trade a stock that's maybe 20 cents above yesterday's closing pivot, and I'll wait for it to come into the closing pivot and then, buy it for a bounce. It just really depends. Do you like opening gaps to trade? Yes, very much, Alex. Very, very much. We trade a lot of gaps, a lot of breakouts out of, volatility compression. So, I'm highly discretionary in how I trade. I'm not super formulaic. I find that depending on what the market has to offer, what stage of the price cycle we're in, it may be more advantageous to take one setup over the other. You know what I mean? Just based on risk, reward, and probability. So I try not to be too rigid in how too robotic in how I choose to trade. So, but that's a good question. Yes, opening gaps are usually a good deal. With Friday's PPI coming in hot, you feel comfortable trading cyclicals like Tesla? I feel extremely confident trading cyclicals like Tesla. Mostly been shorting Tesla, Joseph, but that's certainly a way to trade it. Yeah. So the we got a whole lot of volatility out of the PPI. So I honestly I don't care whether they go up, down, or sideways as long as they're moving. Um, Joseph, I really could care less. So do I feel comfortable going long cyclicals and holding them? Not until the market has had a serious a seriously corrective pullback, and we've gotten through the summary of economic projections on Wednesday, and we have a better idea of what the Fed is thinking. Thoughts on semis hitting a top or room for more? That's a great question. I think the GTC 2024 will be a good weather vane for whether we've hit the top or not. I don't think so. I think there's a lot more upside in the semiconductors. We're going to have to see. I saw the HeartNet note, the Bank of America HeartNet note on semiconductors, and they said that that CapEx spending on semiconductors is expected to come in and see a reduction over the next couple of quarters. I don't know that they're correct. So we're going to have to wait and see. Also, the higher Bitcoin goes, I hate this word, but it's true. There is a synergistic effect between the price of Bitcoin and crypto as an asset and semiconductor prices. So you could actually have reduced capex in a lot of corporate America and still see out of control demand for semiconductors. So both those things could be true. What's your preferred method in options, straight calls, puts, call, or put spreads? So I trade options directionally. I trade them as a hedging instrument, and I also write a lot of calls and puts and spreads in my other accounts. So yeah, I'll sell call spreads and put spreads all the time. Just in this room we're a little bit more directional. We're typically talking about technical direction of the market and of a name in question, and then how people decide to trade that is up to them. Some people will do straight calls. Some people do bull put spreads. Some people do long stock, and then they'll hedge options. There's a lot of different trading styles in this room. You'll find that there's a lot of people doing really different things. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, find yourself. Wow, you're sounding a lot like a Morpheus lately, Eddie. Look at that. Find yourself, Neo. All right, we got some. You took the correct bill. You have chosen wisely. All right, great stuff. So we'll be back in 20 minutes for the weekly watch list. Please make sure to ask as many questions as you want throughout the week. The best time to do Q&A is after 11 o'clock. if you ask a question before 11 and I don't answer it, it's not because I'm ignoring you in any way, shape, or form. The market just tends to be really busy and we get overwhelmed with trading opportunities and just the hustle bustle of the open. All right. So we'll see you guys back in 20 minutes for the market watch list for the week of March 18th. Thank you all for attending. We'll see you in a little bit.